Hi, good morning everyone. This is Vinoth PGPM student from IEP Trichy. Today I am going to talk about South Korea transformation during 1960. How South Korea has transformed from the poorest country into the high industrial country during 1960 and what was the policies they have undertaken and during those policies what were the key actions they have taken and what was the impact mainly I am going to talk about in this video. The first policy is the trade openness and the export orientation. The key actions were the government created incentive for the firms to focus on the export market, which leading to the remarkable growth in the export. Between the 1961 and 1980, the country export grew at the impressive annual rate of the 23.7%. The impact was the export lead model exposed the domestic firm to the global competition, forcing them to become the more efficient and the competitive. It also facilitated the transfer of the technology and innovation from the developed countries. The success of this model is the evident as South Korea has shifted from the being one of the poorest country to the top exporter of the electronics, automobiles and shipbuilding by the 1990s. The sign policy was the export targeting and support for the exporters. The key actions were the exporter were provided with the significant advantages and incentives if they met their annual target during especially on export. The government offered the preferential access to low interest credit and tax breaks and subsidies for the firm which they performed well during those periods. And the impact was the system fostered intense competition among the firm to expand their export capacity, which led to the rapid industrial growth. And the South Korean conglomerate known as the Chavals, especially like Samsung, Hyundai, and LG. They were the primary beneficiaries, scaling up the rapidly and positioning themselves as a global leaders. That policy was the sectoral shift on the heavy industrialization. The key actions were the government funneled resources into these industries through direct credit and tax incentive and infrastructure development. These industries were crucial for the long-term economic security and growth, particularly in reducing the dependence on the foreign imports for the key industrial input. The move was also partially motivated by the defense consideration as the heavy industries were seen as essential for the national security. The impact was the shift to the this industry which improved South Korea into the high value industries, which allowing to capture the greater the share of the global market in sectors like shipbuilding and steel. The South Korea firms were able to compete globally in the capital intensive sectors and diversifying the economic base and reducing the reliance on the lower value and industries. Fourth one is currency devaluation and the competitive pricing. The key actions were majorly taken in 1960. The South Korea government devalued its currency from the 60 won and then again it's devalued to the 256 won per dollar in 1964. This made the South Korea goods significantly cheaper and more competitive in the international market. The key impact was the devaluation has made South Korea product affordable on the world stage and increased the demand for the export. And it's coupled with the tax incentive and reduced the operation cost for the exporters. Further, it's encouraging them to expand their presence in the global market. And the last one is the credit and financial incentive for the exporters. The key actions were the South Korean exporter had the access to the subsidies credit with the interest rate often much lower than the market rate. In some instances, like the difference between the market interest rate and the preferential rate was the highest, as high as around 20% point. And the key impact was these financial incentives allowed a firm to reinvest in expanding production capacity and purchasing technologies and enhancing their competitiveness in the international market. Overall, from these five policies, South Korea has the greatest impact on three parameters. First one is increased export. As a firms met their export target, they gained more financial support, which they reinvested in and improving the productivity, which leading to the more export. And second one is the industrial upgrading. By transitioning into the heavy industries, South Korea moved to the value chain and creating the diversified industries base that could withstand the global shocks. and that one is chaebol growth as like conglomerates. The government financials and policies which is supported chaebols grow into the global industrial chains, which contributed significantly to the South Korea GDP and its reputation as in the industrial power. Thank you.